My God, I hate trucks.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, I join my colleagues in thanking and congratulating my dear friend, President Xi Jinping, for hosting the second Belt and Road Forum for International Cooperation. I reaffirm my country's commitment to the collective vision of common prosperity through cooperation on the basis of mutual respect and as equal sovereign state. In the past, belts and roads established lines of commerce, contact, and connections. Humanity's experience, however, has been mixed. Some networks spurred progress, other networks ushered decline. While some societies benefited, others paid a heavy toll. We should learn from the lessons of history. We built the current rule-based order because nobody wins in a zero-sum game. This brought us sustained peace and unparalleled prosperity. From building a global free trade regime to laying down the rules that govern the use of oceans, multilateralism allowed us to undertake global governance through cooperation. This part of the model is truly to transform our world for the better. Yet even before multilateralism and the new globalization matured, we in Southeast Asia already envisioned a community that promotes shared prosperity and mutual respect. Through ASEAN, we have achieved regional peace and common development. We have become the fulcrum of the regional architecture, respected by all powers for the leadership that only we nations with no strategic design, but that only of peace can provide. ASEAN's centrality has been a positive force in Asia's rise and continue to be so as the region's architecture evolved. This is the premise of the Philippines' engagement with the world in pursuit of our independent foreign policy. We will uphold and defend the open and rules-based international order. To the extent the Belt and Road Forum complements ASEAN and our national development initiatives, including the Master Plan for Asian Connectivity, and creates an environment conducive to productive bilateral undertakings, the Philippines shall continue to participate, contribute, and cooperate. The belts and roads of the past facilitated cross-civilization exchange. The belts and roads that we now seek to build must fuse our ideas towards a common objective. Our destination must be the fulfillment of our people's aspiration. In pursuing connectivity, we should not merely build roads and bridges, but we should also create human connections. It is through these connections that we facilitate grand exchanges of skills, ideas, and experience. It is also through linkages that we forge and build trust and understanding. Migrant workers serve as nodes of this connection. Through their hard work, they continue to contribute to the development of both their home and host countries. Protecting their rights and promoting their welfare are our shared responsibility. These are the essence of people-centered cooperation. The Philippines is one with every responsible member of the international community in building a future that would be the envy of history. One that promotes global cooperation, yet upholds and respects national sovereignty, where national honor is married with the interest of humanity, and where the great challenges that transcend national borders are collectively addressed. With the Belt and Road program, this forum we have is an opportunity to redefine international cooperation. This is the key to sustained growth. We must remember, development assistance must be used as a genuine tool to bring about positive change in the lives of our people. And it must be a purposive decision of partner states, taking into account mutual respect and mutual interest. Development assistance should be built on capacities of nations. It should never foster dependence. It should be based on reciprocal benefits motivated by keen interest in partner states to bring about real progress. This should be the new normal, and it is our interest to work together to make this a reality. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to introduce our beloved President, our President, which has 79% approval rating after 3 years, Mayor Rodrigo Roa Duterte.
Thank you. Kindly sit down. Kindly sit down. I'd like to acknowledge the presence of the following superstars: Trade and Industry Secretary Ramon Lopez, Foreign Affairs Secretary Teodoro Locsin Jr., Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez III, Public Works and Highway Secretary Mark Villar, Labor and Employment Secretary Silvestro Bello III, and other members of the Cabinet, Ambassador Jose Santiago Santa Romana, our ambassador, our friends from the Chinese and Philippine business communities, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I am pleased to be back here in Beijing. Last year, President Xi Jinping and I agreed to elevate Philippine-China relations to a comprehensive strategic cooperation. Strong linkages between the Philippines and Chinese businesses are key to achieving this shared goal. I am happy to witness the exchange of signed business agreements between the Philippine and Chinese companies. This is a vote of confidence in the growth and prospects of the Philippine economy, for which we are thankful. China is now our largest trading partner and a major source of foreign investments. The Belt and Road Initiative, which we welcome, complements their massive push for infrastructure development under the Build program. Your investments in manufacturing contribute to job creation and the improvement of productive capacities, in line with our inclusive innovation industrial strategy. We are now jointly developing industrial parks, the first of which is now being built at the new Clark City. The Philippines welcomes responsible foreign investors as partners for national development. The Philippine government guarantees, through good governance, an enabling environment that allows business and investments to prosper. I will not allow corruption in my government. It has been at the start of my administration, and it will be until the day I step out of office. We are strengthening domestic policies and regulations to promote ease of doing business, easy, and enhance the competitiveness of new enterprises and industries. Let me just differ from the third speech. I want you guys, all businessmen, whether it really be Japanese, Chinese, I want you to go to the Philippines, do business, and I will create an environment which you will find comfortable. And that is the reason why I am asking everybody for his utmost cooperation. I guarantee you that there will be no hassles, no asking for money, no nothing. And if you think that the permit or the concession privilege about to be given is unduly delayed, please let me know. You have your ambassador, who is my good friend, or maybe your project is related to one of the departments here, whether it is energy, electronic, railroad. There's always a secretary, and I guarantee you they're all honest. Some of them are my classmates, and I'd like to say that Secretary Tugadi was my classmate in the law school, and he was our valedictorian. And before he joined government, because of his brilliance, he was already a millionaire. So, and everybody else, for example, like my finance secretary, he's my childhood friend. We lived in the same subdivision. Since kindergarten up to Stanford, he was always the valedictorian. Me, I was always the last in my class. High school is for 4 years. I finished it in 7 years. So quite an achievement, really, with the grade almost hanging. The passing grade in the Philippines is 75. There's no need to be 76 You just need 75, and you go up. My mother always would complain, why, your grade is always 75. No, ma, what do I need the 6 for? When the 75 would guarantee that I would be on the next year. So, almost of them are bright. My Secretary of Defense was my chief of staff. When he was young, he was assigned in Davao, was a general, but at the time he was a colonel. And he had his hair, beautiful and wavy hair. But when I became president, he was working, retired, but he was living in Washington, D.C. And I said, leave the CIA and join me in my government. I have my labor secretary. Well, he was a son of a judge, not really poor but not rich. But for the life of me, ever since, I have yet to see him with socks in his shoes. I don't know why. So everybody else are the brilliant guys. I said, there will be no corruption. I have fired, to my dismay, almost 6 cabinet members during the last 3 years, some for corruption. I will not, even I said, want to hear even a whisper. Like Caesar's wife, you must be beyond whisper. That is how to get the people to get interested and have trust in government people. We are strengthening domestic policies and regulations to promote ease of doing business. One initiative is the establishment of the Philippine Renminbi Trading Company. This will significantly reduce the cost of doing business across our 2 companies. Our growing economic exchanges can only strengthen the enduring friendship between the Filipino and Chinese nations. Thank you for taking part in this Philippine growth story and in partnering with our government as we pursue inclusive growth and shared prosperity for all people. So there's no other page. I may say thank you.
Thank you for the inspiring message, Mr. President.